Hi, everyone, and welcome to Ask Christa, where I answer listener questions about business challenges and workplace issues. I'm Christa Dhimo, and this is episode 65 in season 6, as we continue focusing on dealing with bad bosses. Remember, most people aren't prepared to become a manager, and if you're having issues with your boss, chances are your boss is having issues with their boss too. And that keeps the bad boss cycle going. Today's episode is about what to do when your boss is terrible with giving feedback. Let's face it, most people are terrible at giving feedback, but it's especially distressing when it's your boss. Before we get started, my show is a free resource designed to help you get through common day-to-day issues at work. I keep it going because the questions I receive, and of course my listeners, but it helps if you like and subscribe wherever you're watching or listening. And if you head over to my site, askchrista.com, that's Christa with a CH, submit your question. While you're there, click the blue follow button and sign up for my More Answers newsletter, where you'll receive a quick boost and a cool resource to get you through your work week. Here's the listener question. My manager is terrible with giving feedback, but it seems like he thinks he's great at it. It's so bad that all of us on his team now talk about it openly with each other, sometimes finding humor in it just to cope. There isn't a week that goes by when we aren't sending memes from the office. I can't pinpoint what the exact issue is because it's all of it. I have ambitions to become a manager, so I've looked online to learn about various things related to being an effective manager, and that made it worse for me. Now I know how easy it is to learn about some of these skills and how bad he continues to be. For example, the timing is always wrong. It's awkward. He goes on and on like he doesn't know how to close it up. It's usually his opinion on things with no actual relevance, and the feedback is mostly him telling us how he wants to do our jobs instead of helping us do better. Most on the team disregard any feedback he gives, but last year he dinged a couple of us on our performance review for not applying his feedback for how he wanted us to do our work. Both of us escalated that to HR, citing that his feedback wasn't relevant to our performance. It was just his opinion on how we would do our job versus how we actually do our job. HR agreed, and our performance reviews were rewritten with no issues at all. But it doesn't seem like much else was done, like helping our manager actually give good feedback. I'd actually like to help him if I can. How should I coach him on a better way to give feedback? Whew, okay. There's a lot to talk about here, and I'll break each point down in chapters for those who want to skip through a few different layers, because we'll be talking about how our listener is putting their judgment aside and wants to coach their manager for success, and that you need to know the manager is actually coachable to do well in coaching him. Then there's the fact that giving effective feedback is hard to do. It's an art and a science, because you need to be eloquent and savvy in how you do it, but also have to understand the right techniques that actually work when you want to deliver feedback, especially if you're trying to help someone else deliver feedback. So I'll briefly touch on a lot of points related to this question. First, I love that our listener has taken it upon themselves to learn about effective management. I also appreciate that our listener is willing to see an issue, take action to impact it for the better, and is doing so with the team and the manager's best interests in mind. I've received a lot of questions about managers who create nightmare situations because they do not know how to give effective feedback. And since the employee-manager relationship is one of the most impactful and important ones in the workplace, this is part of management that I wish all organizations spent a good amount of time on and required an expert level of giving effective feedback before anyone was even eligible to move into a management position. Just imagine how effective every organization would become if this expert level feedback were considered a requirement. Here's the first step golden rule about coaching someone. They have to be coachable. And that doesn't just start with you and your want of coaching them. It starts with them and their willingness to be coached. That means that they want to learn and develop. They believe coaching is in their best interest. They feel safe enough with the person wanting to offer coaching, and they are willing to listen and apply what's being provided, even if they may not agree with it. They also need to be open to having gaps in their technical skills, which we all have. As you grow and develop as a professional, those gaps are fewer and farther between each other, and they are usually reasonably filled. But that doesn't mean gaps don't persist or that you're unaware of newer and better ways to work. But here's the kicker. Management is a technical role, but most organizations hardly see it that way. It's like how project management roles were seen 25 years ago, where organizations thought of project managers as those who track tasks and keep a schedule in Excel. Most organizations these days understand and appreciate that project management is far more technical than that. usually because it's a people-driven role with technical people skills that go beyond tracking task completion. It's like that with management roles also. Just like how specialty coaches in sports offer teaching and various programs to learn and practice technical skills in sports, organizational coaches, as our listener is in fact offering to do for their manager, they offer teaching and various programs to learn and practice technical skills for the organization. Technical manager skills include how to listen when you're stressed out or tired, how to set priorities during a set work week, and how to make responsible decisions when there are various expectations to make everything a priority beyond the 40 hours or other set time work weeks. And of course, how to manage a team to be their best every day, whether best might be one way or the other in your performance expectations. This, of course, includes delivering effective feedback. And that last one, feedback, that has become one of the toughest skills to practice and do well for a variety of reasons. So if your manager is coachable and you're clear on the technical aspects of a manager role, and for our listener, it sounds like they're given that amount of extra training that they've done independent of and in addition to their work, there are ways to coach someone to be better at giving effective feedback. And you'll do that by giving effective feedback. Feedback is an art and a science. I'll keep saying that. It's an art because it elicits emotions and thoughts and various feelings before, during, and after. And it's a science because there are thousands of studies that support some best practices with this. Practices that are effective because they're supported by empirical evidence, locked in with a p-value of significance, which is tech talk for a confidence level of 95% and above. If we really want to get technical, the term is a confidence interval of 95% and above. I'll include some specifics in the show notes, as well as a link to a few of my previous episodes that focus on feedback. Now, we don't know if our listener here needs help with the potential of their manager becoming defensive, but defensive behavior and the anxiety associated with a defensive person is one of the biggest reasons why people cannot, do not, or will not deliver effective feedback. But still, there are effective ways to do it. And for our listener, I would prepare your purpose and objective ahead of a coaching discussion. It might sound like this. Hi, manager. One of the areas I'm most interested in as I consider a possible future in a manager role is how to deliver effective feedback. I'm involved in a self-directed study, and one of the resources I use has offered ways I can start coaching others on effective feedback. Would you be open to me practicing this skill on you as part of my development? I'm framing it this way to take the bite out of approaching your manager with a "you need to do better" statement, which will likely create a lot of new problems, obviously. But I'm also framing it this way because that's part of what I heard from our listener. Taking this approach is the art of feedback. It's not just about coaching your manager to make things easier for everyone, including your manager, whether they think so or not, but it's also about having a development opportunity for you to coach someone. The art is in assuring the purpose and objective is upfront and direct, while also offering a safe proposal where you're being honest about intent. Truly, this is an opportunity for our listener to practice what they are learning, and that's how it should be considered. You're not in an expert position outside of the team where psychological safety is at a distance. This is you approaching your manager. You're not a consultant or an external coach. You're someone who's already downgraded or has received a downgrade in performance because the listener's manager did not know how to deliver effective feedback. And a team member also, just because they didn't operate in the way that the manager expected them to. That tells me that there is some level of rigidity in the manager's mindset, at least as it relates to how work is being done, even if the outcome is met or exceeded in expectations. So that's the biggest part of the art. How you approach and being upfront and honest about the purpose and objectives in a way that eases your ask for both parties. One of your intentions is to improve how your manager delivers feedback because you believe he's terrible at it. But the art of approach is determining if that's the most important aspect to convey as your purpose, or if it's bigger than how you feel about his feedback style. The bigger purpose is sharing what you've learned and doing it so in a reverse coaching direction. You are providing the coacher to your boss. The science is much easier, believe it or not. Focus on behaviors only, observable behaviors, what you see. Not how did you feel, not whether you agreed with something, and not whether someone did their work the way you thought they should, manager. but what you saw, have seen, and can point to. Then give a one-liner about the impact that behavior had or is having, followed by what you'd like to see change or continue. Yes, continue. This is a great feedback model because it applies to positive reinforcement and positive feedback when someone did something so good that you have to let them know the impact had. You have to let them know you hope they keep doing it. In fact, for our listener, you might want to break your feedback down into 2 parts. Part 1, I appreciate that you prepare and then provide us with feedback. That's the behavior. Because it shows us that you're plugged in and you know that we're doing our jobs and what we're doing in our jobs. It always feels good to know your boss is plugged in. That's the impact. I hope you continue to care about my work that way. That's the continue. Part 2 would look like this. At the same time, last week we both agreed I'm doing great work and that my outcomes are consistently top-notch. But then you focused on how you wanted me to do the work, that you wanted me to do it the way you would do it. That's the behavior. And that gets confusing because at this point in my career and based on the discussions we've had about my performance, we agree I'm doing a good job. So it's confusing because I have to do my job the way I would do it, not the way you or somebody else would do it. That's why I operate at the level I operate at and do the good work that I do. That's the impact. Can we work out a way for you to shift your feedback on my outcomes instead of how I'm doing my work? That's the change. Prepare and try it. Or review the additional resources and learn. Feedback is an art, backed by science. And when it comes to coaching people to improve their feedback skills, you don't have to tell them you're doing it to just do it. For your resources, located in the show notes, I've included a fantastic article from the University of Minnesota Office of Human Resources from April 2025. It's called How Coachable Are Your Employees? And it focuses on how to identify, approach, and get involved with employees when it comes to coaching them through change and new behaviors, or ways to continue elevating their performance so that they can continue doing the great work they're doing. It reviews what makes someone coachable and how to identify the right fit. It also talks about different zones of coaching. It's a great way to learn about the first steps of coaching and whether someone is coachable. As an aside, every day I'm thinking of those in Minneapolis and across all of Minnesota, and I'm doing my part behind the scenes to continue supporting as I'm able. Next up, a thorough article that gets into the art and science of feedback, an article in Positive Psychology News from Catherine Britton. It's called How to Give Feedback So People Can Hear It. It's from October 2009. It's never been so relevant. I've also included 3 previous Ask Christa episodes that focus specifically on giving feedback. And I offer these not just as shameless plugs, but because they are answering listener questions about different aspects of giving feedback. Season 2, episode 15, focuses on how to give feedback to a defensive team member. And in the same season, episode 16, is about managing an interrupting boss. Last, from season 4, episode 46, how to approach a work friend to meet a deadline. Each episode focuses on delicate situations with a lot of interpersonal dynamics and power dynamics too. It focuses mostly on giving feedback using the model I reviewed in this episode. That model is called BIC, Behavior, Impact, Change or Continue. Feedback is hard, but it doesn't have to be as hard on us and our employees as we make it. It's a very technical skill that requires a lot of finesse. So put away any assumptions that it can be done effectively without enough knowledge and practice. And for our listener, thank you for looking out for your teammates and your manager. And there it is, episode 65, as we continue season 6, focused on dealing with difficult bosses. Please like and subscribe here, but why not send in a question? Go to my site, askchrista.com, that's Christa with a CH, and click on Submit Your Question. You'll also see other episodes there listed by category and season, and every season has a theme. And sign up for my More Answers newsletter to get great tips and different resources and boosts for the work week. As always, thank you for your support. And remember, if you have a business challenge or workplace issue, ask Christa.